In this AlignMix video, you will learn how to use the Incontiguous tool here in AlignMix. Now, what does an Incontiguous tool do? Well, it actually helps you find little pieces of a territory that are outside of the territory assignments, really. It's kind of like a satellite area that belongs to a territory, but it's located quite far out and it's not touching the main mass of the territory. There's a few ways you can locate these incontiguous territories. You can right-click on a territory and then click on the smallest cluster. And when you do that, it'll zoom into the piece of that territory that is incontiguous. So right here, you can see that there's this little pink piece of territory separated from the rest of the main mass of that territory. And there's a purple territory in the way. So to fix this, we would simply use the touch align tool and color that in. So the first way to search for incontiguous territories is to simply right click on a territory, bring up your radial tool, and then you click on smallest cluster. And here is one more. So you can see that this little zip code is just outside and it's technically incontiguous because it's not touching. So maybe this should be actually blue like that. So if I zoom back out and do the Incontiguous tool one more time, click on smallest cluster, now when there isn't any incontiguous pieces, it'll just zoom in and center the main mass of that territory. There is another way we can search for these incontiguous territories. If you go to your territory table view, we have a section called contiguous here in this column. You can see which ones are contiguous. If they are contiguous, it will just have one part, meaning there is just one mass of that territory, one geographic shape. If it's incontiguous, you'll see it says no, and then it will give you how many incontiguous pieces there are. If we double click on this too, it will zoom into the area that is incontiguous. So right away, you can see that it's zoomed us into the place where it's not contiguous. Let's go back to that territory table. If I right-click on that number 2, it'll tell you a little bit about both of those pieces that are incontiguous. Well, first you can see that this Newark portion has 315 zip codes in an area of 10,000 square miles. So that's probably the main mass of the territory. And here you've got this little piece with 4 zip codes in an area of 21.5 miles. So this is clearly the area that should be reassigned. So if I double-click here on Pittsburgh, it'll bring us back to that little area. And we can make it green because it was probably supposed to be part of the green territory anyway. Let's go back to the territory table, and here we've got another one that says no. And if I right click here, you'll see that there is a lot of little incontiguous areas. Those must be point zip codes. Let's find another area. How about here? This is, yep, let's click here and it will zoom into it. And that is a little point zip code that exists right there on the edge. If I click here, we'll make it go pink, because a point zip code is usually assigned to the host zip code. Point zip codes kind of exist within a zip code, and in this case, maybe there was a finger slip and it was colored in wrong. And there you go, you've just learned how to locate and fix incontiguous pieces of your territories.